So this might be the most important video I've ever done. I just want you to take a moment and take that in. Are you a guardian of the galaxy? Are you guardian of the galaxy material? If I said to you that I am recruiting guardians of the galaxy for 100 years hence, and I'm starting the recruitment process now because I need over 1 billion, upwards of 10 billion guardians of the galaxy. As a guardian of the galaxy, you will be responsible for recruiting other guardians of the galaxy. You spend your whole life doing two things: guarding the galaxy and recruiting. You're going to guard the galaxy against internal threats and external threats. So, there are plenty of species, plenty of entities who will damage the galaxy from within. And there are probably exponentially more entities and beings and species that will try to damage the galaxy from without, from neighboring galaxies or from galaxies that are far, far away. And they will teleport to this galaxy or to its periphery and cause trouble. Are you ready for that? You will live in a pod. This pod will have a physical location in outer space, but it will also be drenched in a virtual fluid, which is to say that in the pod there will be a total fluid reality and it will be virtual. That's how we see it now. You will respond to threats all your life. The primary characteristic necessary for a guardian of the galaxy is a big heart. Everything else is merely technical and can be trained. But in order to be a guardian of the galaxy, you must have the proper heart. Otherwise known as a magnanimous heart, which means a big-souled heart. Because to guard the galaxy from internal and external threats, you have to care only about others. Your self-care, your self-love, that's the seed, germinates in your heart. But then your heart has to expand and not be exclusively preoccupied with you. In other words, every day you have to have the concerns of the galaxy itself as your foremost concern. You may live for thousands and thousands, if not millions of years as a guardian of the galaxy. And every moment of every day, of every year, of every eon will be concerned with others. You won't even find any value in pride. The pride that comes with being a guardian of the galaxy. You will simply guard the galaxy from internal and external threats. Now, depending upon your specialty, your aptitude, you will encounter foes in two different aspects. Okay? If you are particularly skilled at engaging the interior dimension of any being in front of you, you will use that approach to disabling the threat that they pose to the galaxy. So if they come at you with anger, you'll find a way to work with that energy using your heart. And your mind, of course, and your will. All the other tools in your toolbox, but it's primarily a matter of the heart. And you'll do this without reference to yourself. There would be no pretension, no vanity, none of that. You'll just do it because you're concerned for all the beings in this galaxy. The most difficult challenge of being a guardian of the galaxy is that you'll no longer value your own life because all you're doing is protecting other lives. You will forget your own needs, and once you become detached from your own needs, your primary challenge will be to care about the needs of others. That's the challenge of the heart. And only the most stalwart, resilient, indomitable, formidable hearts can withstand that pressure of no self-love, only love for others. Now, the other warrior or guardian of the galaxy isn't as inwardly oriented with respect to threats, but tackles them with the exterior approach, which is mainly a matter of physical weaponry. This kind of guardian won't even bother getting in diplomatic relations with a foe. There's going to be no dialogue with the enemy. It's just going to be an annihilation. The presupposition is that the enemy has no heart, has no interiority worth reckoning with. The enemy is only bent upon destruction of this galaxy and must be eliminated accordingly. So if you don't feel that you have the right heart to engage the enemy in a heart-to-heart fashion and disable them through working with their interior reality in a great kind of liaison of intimacy, then go toward the second option, which is basically killing without remorse, without any sort of touch involved other than the trigger. So either one of these options are available to you, but there is a challenge for the second, more technical approach as well, and it's the same challenge for the first heart-oriented approach, which is you will only feel the need to protect others who are living out their needs. You're going to have to deal with this sense of nihilism, with a sense of envy. All you'll be able to do is say to yourself, I'm a guardian of the galaxy. I have put my needs on the back burner indefinitely. I'm never going to retire from my occupation. I may live for millions of years. All I care about is guarding life. I am not alive myself. I have subjugated the impulse to enjoy being, to savor reality. All I want to do is give myself to the cause. Now you may realize that there's plenty of analogs for this in our current society. You may admire as heroes those who forsake their own happiness by protecting the happiness of others. You may think that that is their happiness. And you are right. However, when you're a guardian of the galaxy, we're talking about a single occupation on the scale of millions, possibly billions of years, depending upon the kind of cybernetic technology that we develop that indefinitely, expands or extends indefinitely the lifespan of the human being, which will become a cyborg composite, continually revitalizing the organic nature until it's most likely filtered out in the virtual fluid of each pod. What kind of civilization will you be defending as a guardian of the galaxy? You won't know that when you sign up. You're going to sign up for a lifetime contract, not knowing how long you're going to live. You have to say goodbye to your family, although you'll be able to, of course, commune with them in the virtual fluid that we provide. You must always be a patriot toward the galaxy itself. You must always believe in defending the galaxy from harm, internal and external, regardless of what the galaxy actually becomes. It doesn't matter. That's out of your hands. That's not for you to be concerned about. Your only concern is protecting the life of the galaxy, relinquishing the life that you live for the sake of that one cause. And if there are other guardians of other galaxies, you'll never know them. You'll never meet them unless they decide that guarding their galaxies means attacking our galaxy. Now, like I said, I'm starting this program early. I'm getting a head start on gathering and managing future guardians of the galaxy. It's not like the movie. The movie is great, and it's a wonderful propaganda piece. It gets the ball rolling. It gets people excited. It's like those, Army commercials or Air Force commercials where all you see is the bright spots of enrollment. So, yeah. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 1 and Volume 2 are wonderful popcorn flicks. Summer blockbusters. It's not as fun as that. Not as frivolous and frolicsome. You will be on adventures as a guardian of the galaxy, but it will be in your pod, in your virtual fluid. Now, of course, today, it's not such a remote scenario to imagine a life in a pod, because when we're always staring at our phones or on our computer screens, that's kind of a pod in the sense that reality around us is blocked out, and we only understand or only concern ourselves with the reality on our screen. So for all intents and purposes, we're already in that virtual fluid, that virtual pod. And this is why I think a lot of people are going to resonate with my proposal and why it's okay to get started 100 years early. Because as we know, as we approach the singularity, time itself, the psychological experience of time speeds up. And before you know it, we'll be at the singularity. We need to be prepared. So, that's my speech. That's my proposal. We're talking about dignity here. So much dignity that even the question of dignity is thrown out the window. So much courage that even patting yourself on the back for bravery is out of the question. But when you really look at our current situation and assess reality on very sober terms, you'll see that in the next 100 years, there's going to be nothing really to live for anyways. So why not protect all the life that has nothing to live for? At least you'll have something to live for, even if everyone that you're protecting has nothing to live for. Because you see that as we progress, purpose itself gets annihilated. We live only to live. But we don't know why we're alive. We just know that we're alive, and we live only to live. And it's such a nihilistic conundrum that there can be no real purpose that flourishes in that context. Because you just don't know why we're alive. Why we would have a purpose at all. A vision, a dream. something that nourishes us from the inside out, plugs us into the immortal source. All that's gone, and we know it. That's just a dream, a fantasy, a relic of a bygone era, time, of a religious sentiment that is extinct. In the future, we will only protect and guard life that has lost its own way. And we'll simply hold on to it because we fear death. We fear annihilation. And these are the kind of people that I want. People who understand that the people who they guard have lost their way, and it's worth guarding those people anyways. These guardians of the galaxy are going to live in their pods, in their little screens, their virtual fluid, and they're going to be completely out of touch with the people that they protect. They're going to receive no accolades, no kudos, no recognition, no acknowledgement, no rewards, no awards, nothing. They're just going to know that protecting life that has lost its way, this protection is the only thing that matters. Every citizen, every denizen, every member and entity of the galaxy will, within the next 1,000 years, have no idea why it exists. Because the great techno-economic expansion of humanity and our neighboring species on other planets, all of it will be built on that fundamental predicament of the human not knowing why the human is, or these other species. And in order to mobilize trillions of individuals into the collective cause, there must be a collective lostness, where they don't know why they are, and therefore they can be herded like cattle, gathered like cats. If you know why you are, there is no program that can come in there and substitute that why. Unless, of course, you exist for that why. And that's where the Guardians come in. They exist for the why of guarding beings that have lost their why. Do you, as a Guardian of the galaxy, want that why? To guard trillions of beings who have lost their why, but are expanding across the galaxy anyways, because they've lost their why. This is something you're going to have to live with in your virtual fluid, in your pod. So you see that when you are anchored in your own why, you have a guarantee, an ironclad contract with being. You know your why. If you go too deep into your why, it will implode or implode. It will self-destruct. So don't do that, and that will be an additional challenge. So you could see the psychological profile of a Guardian of the Galaxy is long. So many attributes and characteristics for guarding this galaxy. You will only have this heart to answer your questions. You will also necessarily understand that the heart is inexhaustible in the application of its own resources. The heart and its resources. What does that mean? That when the heart is drained, it gets replenished by resourcing. That's what you're going to have to do. In your pod, you're going to understand the epidemic of nihilism that has contaminated the entire galaxy, where people are just expanding and expanding and expanding. Species are expanding and expanding and expanding, colonizing every single molecule and atom and particle, superstring, everything. down to the infinitesimal within the infinitesimal within the infinitesimal, and yet they're doing this because they've lost their why. They don't have their why. And so they must consume, and eat and explore and discover. And you are going to guard all of that. You are going to be so plugged into your heart that when you cognize with your mind all the kind of infinite insatiability around you, you're going to say, I'm going to guard that anyways. I'm going to love that anyways. I'm going to protect that anyways. And when you come to the end of this koan, to this enigma, this conundrum, this impasse, this dilemma, when you come to the end of it, you're going to have to answer the most difficult question of all, which is, how can I continue to guard the people who are destroying the galaxy from the inside out, when it is my duty to guard the galaxy? And then you're like, well, what is the galaxy at this point? I thought I was guarding this thing that's actually eating itself and destroying itself. And you will have to ask in your heart of hearts whether you can still guard and protect the very thing that is destroying itself. And you're not going to be able to exit your pod on pain of breaking your contract, of breaching your integrity. You're going to be in the virtual fluid. You're going to have to answer these questions in the heart of your heart. How can you guard a galaxy that's eating itself? You will not be able to exit. You must guard. And you will ask yourself, well, how can I even guard them? Because you are so confused in yourself that if you're there as an interior master who approaches enemies through the interior reality, you're going to be so confounded that you will be ineffective vis-a-vis any foe. And if you're the one kind of guardian that uses the exterior technological approach of just pressing the trigger, you will be so befuddled and discombobulated with your interior mayhem that you won't even be able to press the trigger. You will have to get in guardian support groups, but you won't be able to support each other. This is what's required to be a guardian. You're going to have to be able to field all of this self-contradiction that is inherent to the occupation of guarding a violent culture that is galactic in proportion. You won't even understand how you can do what you do, but you'll need to do it anyways because you have the why. You have the why that no one else has. Everyone's lost their why except for you. And if you lose that why as a guardian of the galaxy, you can't guard the galaxy, because guarding the galaxy is the why that makes you a guardian of the galaxy. So you see why I have to start 100 years early. I don't think I'm going to have a lot of candidates for this. I think a lot of people are going to be scared by the job description. They're going to run in the other direction. I read a review today about my proposal, and it said exactly that. People were reading the proposal, watching the video, and running the other direction. I said, well, isn't that something? At least you have the luxury of running in the other direction. I'm running forward. Like what's his name did? That guy. The one who saw a burning building and he ran into it to save the people instead of running out of it to save himself. He ran into it. I am running into the flame, into the fire, into the destruction that awaits us 100 years hence. I am setting up guardians in advance for the dragons at the gates. The dragons. The technological singularity is upon us. We need to be ahead of the curve. We need to foresee the problems and the probabilities and the possibilities. We need to develop such a stamina and endurance and courage and fortitude of valor a chivalry toward all beings. You can't think about yourself. You can only think about the why. And if the why crumbles and dissolves, you can't even think about that. You must persevere as life itself. Please join me today.